Thank you and welcome. I'm pleased to be here today with Bruno Larvol, CEO and founder of Larvol. Bruno, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. And I had to advertise, so I put my hat on.
I love it. Thanks for dressing up. So Bruno, I'd like to start with a little bit of a background question, if that's okay. What was appealing to you in creating a company around pharmaceutical competitive intelligence software 17 years ago?
So who we are is that we think about us as a mini Bloomberg for pharma. So we sell data and software to pharma, including medical affairs, which is a big part of what we do. The company evolved from me and one person who I found on Craigslist, who was actually an MD and PhD and MBA, very talented woman. And it grew from that to 170 people today. Frankly, there were no plan at the beginning. The idea was working in pharma and doing what we can. And over the years, we moved from doing service and consulting to doing data, to doing software and data, and to doing really software as a service. So right now, we sell data and we sell service to pharma. We do a lot of work in oncology, so that becomes a little bit the direction we're taking. We want to build the Google map for cancer data. That's kind of our strategic direction. But for now, we are a mini Bloomberg for pharma, data for pharma.
I love that. Thanks so much. So I've noticed that Larvol is being described in social media as a hashtag VR first remote always company. Please tell me a little bit more about that.
So this morning, just before this call, actually, we had the grand opening of our new office. And the office is in the metaverse, in virtual reality. So we cut the ribbon for our new office. It's incredible. It's all in virtual reality. So we have these headsets on. I don't know if you can see it with the virtual background. And although we've been remote for 16, 17 years, right? So my number two in the business, Dr. Aviva Friedman, I worked with her for 12 years. She runs operation for the company, and we never met in person. So we were ready for the pandemic, but now we're moving to the next step, which is virtual reality first. So instead of Zooming, we are putting a headset on and we meet avatar to avatar.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun.
Very interesting. Are you in your lobby right now?
I'm in my lobby, also known as my kitchen, with a virtual background in the background. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks so much for explaining that. What does Larvol do as a company in particular in the medical affairs space?
Yes. So we love to track what KOLs are doing. We love to identify, track, and monitor the activity of key opinion leaders in pharma, especially in social media. So for example, this morning, again, just before this call, a little bit earlier, we were on Clubhouse for a medical affair event on Clubhouse, organized with a couple of medical affair professionals. So what we love is to see how technology and social media technology is changing the environment for medical affairs and the interaction between MSLs and KOLs. So being able to monitor the conversation of KOLs on Twitter with webinars, grand rounds online, and a lot of activity online. So that's a big part of what we do: tracking, mapping, monitoring, identifying key opinion leaders.
That's great. Very timely, especially with what's going on right now, right? So can you tell us a little bit more about your newest products and how you see them transform pharma operations?
So we have a lot of new products. So I'm going to pick one or two for now. So one of them is called Larvol View, and it's specifically for Twitter. So, and specifically in the oncology field. So what we're doing for that product is that we build a panel of the top 2,000 oncologists on Twitter. And we have a team of analysts who monitor the conversation of these KOLs, and we abstract their conversation to build analytics. Because what we believe is that the subtleties of the communication on Twitter in the medical field doesn't lend itself to automatic processing. So for example, the sentiment about a reaction to a new data, a software cannot detect that. So in our view, we need curators to actually analyze and extract that information. So that's one product. We have a second product, since you asked, which is called Larvol Clean. And what it is, it's think about it as a data room, a virtual data room for again, oncology clinical data. So we digitize and we aggregate every single public piece of data in oncology, and we make it searchable into a shared data room. That product is going to be launching at ASCO. So it's not yet fully launched.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that. Now, do you have any recommendations for medical affairs professionals who are currently operating in this fully virtual environment?
What I tell to medical affairs professionals I meet and MSLs I meet is that social media, some of us like it. I'm a bit of an enthusiast with social media. Other people don't. But in our opinion, it's inescapable. So we nearly don't have the choice to not like Twitter as MSLs or as medical affairs professionals. Because it's not just having a Twitter account, it's really liking it, enjoying and immersing ourselves into the conversation of our field. And so my recommendation is to embrace it, even if for some of us it's a little bit harder because we're not necessarily natural, or we don't have the time even, right, to invest into one more platform. So whether it's Clubhouse, whether it's Twitter, of course, LinkedIn and others, this is where, in our opinion, the conversation is going to take place. It's still going to take place at ASCO and ACA and so on, or the big conference. But the place where the commentaries are going to emerge, the after party in some ways, is going to increasingly be in social media. And if you miss the after party, you don't have your finger on the pulse of what the conversation is all about. So I'm a little bit of an evangelist, I guess, for social media monitoring.
Great. Well, thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for your time here today, Bruno. It was really great to connect and a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And just a quick note to our attendees who are interested in learning more about Larvol, please be sure to check out our partner content hub for some really great informative collateral items in there from Larvol. But with that being said, thank you so much again for joining us, Bruno. And we hope to see you and the rest of the attendees back after the break at 12:35 p.m. Eastern.
Excellent. Thanks.
Take care.